Hey, Eric.
Hey.
You ever fallen into a hole?
Oh, yeah, countless times.
Would you ever cliff jump?
Well, do I have a parachute?
No.
Probably not in that case.
There is one block of water down at the bottom of this cliff.
Like Minecraft?
Yes, a single block of water. A cubic meter of water.
Odds are not great that I would be able to hit that.
And if we're talking about the real world, I don't think odds are great that you would survive that. Hey everybody, and welcome to Speculation Station, the show where we take a video game, be it a single title or an entire franchise, and turn it into a movie. But not just any movie.
A movie that will get around 55% or more or less on the Rotten Tomatoes rating platform.
We'd prefer the number. I'm Joseph Thomas, here as always with my good buddy
Eric. I usually don't say my name, but I guess I am this time. Hello!
It's the magic of filmmaking.
What?
The magic of filmmaking. So
no, I heard the words.
Yeah. That's our new...
The words weren't... Oh, that's the tag?
Yeah. The magic of filmmaking.
Can you tell everyone what we're talking about today? The video game that we are turning magically into a movie by the end of this episode?
A little game called Downwell.
It's actually pronounced Downwell?
Downwell?
Yeah. So what Downwell is, it's a roguelite, because those are two different things.
Really?
Yeah, you go down a well until you hit the bottom, and that's it. Like, that's pretty much the game.
So you would say it's very much in the sense that roguelikes are, there's not much of a story. You get thrown in and you go through levels and they're kind of randomly generated.
There's a couple of different areas as you get deeper and deeper. And then you hit the bottom, there's a cat, and it's assumedly your cat. You pick up the cat and then you go up. That's the deep character development of the Downwell plot.
Huh. So give me a little hint of the gameplay. What does it feel like when you're playing Downwell?
The actual chunk of Downwell involves literally each level is just like a section of the well. You try to get down alive because there's a bunch of monsters down there. You have these your weapons, I guess, are gun boots, which you kind of shoot as you shoot them out at your feet, so you shoot down.
So
on top
are
of
these
monsters.
like Bayonetta gun boots?
Kind of, not quite as sexual, but in theory, yes. And whenever you land, your gun boots reload. And you can basically pull off combos and stuff where you try not to touch the ground as you go down. Well, not the ground, there's cliffs and stuff on the walls.
Right, because you would assumably have to touch some kind of landing to reload throughout the adventure.
Sure, yeah. There's shops, there's different weapons, there's palette swaps. It's a very, very simple game. And that's pretty much all we got to work with.
When we've worked with this little in the past, I think we've come up with some of our greatest things, but that's not to say this will be.
This has more than we've had with Space Invaders and Tetris, which actually might put us in a harder situation.
That's true. We seem to linger a little bit on those ones.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can really stretch our creative juices with Space Invaders, but we're gonna have to have a well, and we're gonna have to have a person go down that well.
You know how a lot of horror and thriller shows recently that have come out pretty much use one word? They'll say the something, or it'll be one word, and that's
the Conjuring.
Yeah.
The Conjuring 2.
Downwell does very much give me kind of a horror vibe.
How much of a horror movie would consist of the person going down the well, or would it more be the going down part is the really scary part, and it's more about the well on the surface?
All right, so if we don't have much of a story to build off of, then I guess that means we can incorporate as much of it as we want.
So what I was thinking is we kind of go like you go down the well. Most of the movie is spent down the well, if you will,
Right.
in a kind of Spirited Away fashion.
Okay.
Where it's like this weird and wacky world down here. Because there are different areas, and like we could maybe change the monsters to be, kind of characters.
What if in the way... So the vibe that when you say that, of course, you use Spirited Away, I kind of visualize almost a Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of like you set up, you have a normal reality, and then once you cross that threshold, you're in the weird world, the weird well world.
Yeah. I would assume that there would be the opportunity for downtime within the well. So, but not in the sense of going down, in the sense of there would be landings. There would be points
there are landings, there's shops, there's like little not upgrade areas. There's like little ton of, you know how like in Metroid, like you imagine that big vertical shaft with like the bubble doors on the sides.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. You go in there and there's like a different weapon you can use, or different gun boots you can wear, like a shotgun or a laser or a assault rifle. I guess assault boots maybe. Yeah.
I call them my SMGs, my semi-automatic Gucci's.
Gucci's. I call these the shotgun. The S stands for Snickers.
I eat them while I fall down.
These are my sneaker hot guns.
Oh man. Oh, I heard. I don't know why. I heard Snickers, not sneakers.
These are my Snickers sneakers. You gotta be careful how you say that one.
Oh yeah.
So there's 4 different areas in down the well. There's just you jump down. The first kind of area is the caverns. Then under there you have, which is just basically caves. Under there you have the catacombs, which is a little horror. You have some ghosts and ghouls, and you have some like spikes and graveyards and stuff. You have the aquifer, which is all underwater and very hard. And you have more underwater creatures like turtles and crabs and whatnot. And then you have the limbo, which is hell. You can imagine what's down there. And then you fight the boss, which I forgot to mention the boss, who is basically like a plant. It kind of looks like a plant.
Like, are we talking like Audrey 2 or Biolante? What are we talking?
But more of an Audrey 2 vibe, where you're like inside of its mouth.
Ooh.
It's kind of like the bottom has I guess like the eye in a like very Zelda-y way.
Yeah.
And the upper part of it, or the upper part of the screen, is like the top of the teeth, and it kind of crunches.
Crunch.
So you beat that, and then you get your cat, and then you leave.
You go home.
Then you just leave, yeah.
But that's like the goal. Like, since this is a roguelike, your
it
goal is
doesn't
to
really
get
say
to the
the
cat.
goal. You just kind of go down the well, because like, what else are you gonna do?
Right. But that's like, once you've gotten the cat, you've beaten that run.
Right. Yeah. You unlock hard mode, and then you're good.
Do you have to carry the cat back up, or you back up?
It's just over.
Okay. The first thing I can think of, and I'm going to blame you for saying Spirited Away.
Sorry.
I feel the concept of going after an animal is very Ghibli. I don't like the idea of this person maybe going after something that seems maybe a little more dark. I like the concept of maybe there is this well, and it's kind of this eerie, kind of creepy thing, and the cat goes down the well, and the person's like, well, crap, I got to go after the cat.
Well, I don't really have an option at this point.
Yeah.
Gotta go get that cat.
But the character could be a young adult or a child, Well, maybe not a child. We are dealing with gun boots.
Because there actually is a character.
Okay.
Their name is Welltaro.
How is that spelled?
Well and then Taro, but it's squished together. Welltaro.
So everything's about welds in this world.
Well, the 2 things that are named have the word well in them. So I guess Welltaro is a young man, or perhaps young boy. Based on the game's description. One last thing about the game I did forget to mention. So to buy, there's shops, which means obviously there's got to be currency. So as you fall, you collect gems. So as you get gems, you eventually get to gem fever, which is basically like a combo bonus. You know, you get more gems. There's also upgrade. Whenever you complete a level, you get an upgrade, and those aren't really that interesting.
Are they set upgrades, or is it kind of like a little random boost to something?
It's out of like a selection of like 16 or so, and basically it's like +1 of health, +1 of ammo.
It's not like the stuff you get in the shops.
They do the same thing, basically.
You just get one for free for playing.
Right. Well, yeah, I didn't mention this game's very hard. So, yeah, maybe I should have started with that. It's extremely difficult. Now let's talk about the movie. Now that we've gotten the game set up, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this movie.
Well, I like the concept of half of the movie being down the well and half the movie being, or maybe a little less than half, being in this world prior. And I think we could set up a world that makes sense with the aesthetic. I know that the aesthetic is very...
it's just Welltaro is just a little white figure. Looks kind of like a squished Gumby.
Would you think there would be taking anything away from the game in a film if we were to go against that style?
Not that this has no bearing on anything we create the podcast, but what if we did like claymation?
That could actually work if we did claymation.
And we could still keep the look of Welltaro. It's just this little looks like just like a little white dough man, you know?
Yeah.
Ready to be cooked up.
I think the clay style would help it because it would give more of a reason as to why he could look that way if we introduce other kind of funny looking clay characters.
Right. Yeah, and I mean there's I guess one other quote unquote character is the shopkeeper, but like it's not even, it's just you walk in and then it just says text like buy something. Like,
does the shopkeeper have an appearance?
Yeah, they're there. They're just like a little person with a happy smile holding like a shepherd's crook kind of thing.
Are they also a little white blob person?
Yes.
Yeah, then we could utilize that and create kind of an array of different shapes and sizes of little white blob people for the human characters, and then the ones who actually live down in the well can look a little different, a little more. You said the monsters and the other creatures that you encounter. You know.
Right. Well, let's start there. How much time do you think you want to spend above the well?
I am good from half the movie to a little less than half. I would
say much less.
Okay,
personally.
How much are you thinking?
Go ahead and fill out your reason as to.
I honestly just press for time. I don't know how much we can end up doing in the well, you know?
Well, we got 5 areas to work with. We can really...
That is true.
My worry about putting too much weight on the above ground is that we're going to have to resolve that.
I want there to be at least a reason why... a place in which we get to understand this character, as simple as they are. Right. You know, what's their intention? Is this going to be an adventure where their arc is they are scared, and then because the animal has pushed them to go to the well, or going after the animal, has pushed them to go down the well, they have to become, an adventurer or whatever in that sense.
So what kind of flaw should our Welltaro character have? Welltaro and his cat.
Does the cat have a name?
Believe it or not, it sure doesn't.
We should come up with a name for this cat real quick.
What about Wellington?
Yeah, we'll do Wellington. I think Wellington works.
I like it. That's a fine.
Everybody gives their animals prestigious names.
So Welltaro and his cat are living in a house by a well.
I think we should say there's like a village.
I like that. A village, little village.
And there's a well within the village.
The well's in the center?
Right.
Okay.
Say that it actually does serve as a well. Because as we see later, there is a part that has water running through it, the aquifer.
Before you get to hell.
You just don't put the bucket down that far.
What if we set the well up to be, now stick with me, to be kind of like the garbage dump? Like people put everything down there. Water, garbage, bodies. That would explain the catacombs.
Well, okay. How creepy do we want to get with this? Do we want it to be like, Nightmare Before Christmas, where it's going to have some creepy tones, but it's very much going to be a family-friendly film?
I think we could go more Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay, if we do that, then let's not imply that people are throwing bodies down the well. I think we could very much
well,
say
I mean,
that
they are just clay people.
We could say that it's society
we can even
has
change
built
what death is. We can change what death is. Like when they
That's
die,
true.
they just they harden. They put them in the kiln.
Now, okay, you didn't go the way I thought you would. I thought we were gonna go some kind of like life force thing, and they die. You just slap it together, make a new baby make two babies out of one dead man. But no,
I mean, sure, I don't care. Yeah, I mean, we don't. This is our world to form with clay, if you will.
In the game, we do need to set up how we're going to set up the lore because we're going to base it off of the aesthetic, since the aesthetic is literally all we have to go off of. When you are in the catacombs, what do the dead people look like?
You got skull. There's like bouncing skulls. There's kind of floating skulls. You got ghosts. Those are the main three catacomb enemies.
So that would imply that there are, assumably, souls of some kind and bone structures in these figures. Now, obviously, we can take a stretch. We can make this go as far out as we want. But I would like to assume, I think it'd be better to say that if we set up this kind of backstory where the well is a constant thing.
Yeah.
The well has existed
forever.
For a long time. But as each society has built on top of it, the well has been built up as well. And so it would be like, it's kind of the center of whatever this society is. And so as society changes, it's like, okay, well, things change, we dig down. And that could also explain, because the well is not just a straight shot down, isn't it? Doesn't it have like curves?
No, it's straight down.
Really?
As most wells are.
Oh, that's even cooler, because then we can imply that this thing is just some massive,
just a
journey to the
pit.
center of the earth.
Yeah.
Because then we can imply that the graveyards and the other stuff are all from ancient societies, rather than being, we just threw our corpses, into the well.
How about instead of them rising with the well, which I do like that. What if instead the well is sinking? So they always have to build it. I don't know. I'm just trying to. If they built on top of the well, like why are they on the ground instead of, like why is the ground risen as well?
Okay, let us go. Let's look at our options, because we don't want to spend more time building this world than we're going to spend in this world. Let's just say we don't even have to explain why. We could just say that this well goes like straight down to hell. It goes down to the bottom of the world, as far as we know.
Yeah.
And we could say that people use it for like everything. I don't necessarily want to directly say that we're throwing bodies down there, but I do like the idea.
We don't have to like show it or even say it, but just
maybe
like,
it's
say
not even a well
everything.
anymore. Like it was a well, but now it's just kind of a.
Or it's at least it looks like a well. It's a bricks built in a circular fashion.
I don't know. I think maybe we could say our society has progressed past wells, so it could be kind of out on the outskirts. Because we do have gun boots. So
it's the old well.
Right. So it's like out in the country, and there could be some kind of mythicality with it, where it's like, that's the old well.
Well, I don't want it to be too far. I like an almost medieval village, at least in aesthetic, if not in culture necessarily. I don't mind not having it in the center of the village. I do like that. I do like the idea of that, but I do think we need to keep the world like fairly uncivilized, just not modern.
Okay. Oh, we have to imply also there is technology, like the gun boots.
Unless he gets the gun boots in the well.
That would be kind of weird.
But the shopkeeper gives it to him or something like that.
I'm gonna step forward. We're gonna kind of quarantine the first quarter of the movie for above well. Okay.
Okay.
I would like to start on going down the well. Let's say this guy is a normal guy. We'll just straight up say Welltaro is a normal guy.
Just a run-of-the-mill average Joe, if you will.
His cat has gone down the well. I think we should have an implication that the cat is safe. Like, we don't see the cat jump and then he looks down the well and it's just like, oh, it's an empty hole, like something, where'd the cat go? I think we could have it where, like, how wells have a bucket?
You think the cat's in the bucket? This well does not have a bucket, I will say.
Ours could. We could say that our version of the well has a bucket because we could see the cat get in the bucket, and this could be something that the audience just sees, and the bucket kind of just goes down. Person looks and they hear the cat meow, from the bottom of the well, and they're like, I gotta go get my cat.
Sorry, from the bottom of the well that's like 5 miles deep. From that bottom
from a level of the well. Unless we create him seeing the cat, and for some reason the cat keeps going further down the well.
I mean, I don't have a problem with what you initially said that you didn't want, where you just see the cat go over the well, and then he looks down there and he sees no cat.
How's the cat going to be? I mean, I think we could salvage that if we give the implication of like, cats always land on their feet, so he's going to be fine.
We could also switch it up where the cat gets nabbed by the boss.
I don't know how I feel about that, because what reason would the boss need the cat for?
He wants a pet. It doesn't have to be a good reason.
So you're saying we go full Nightmare Before Christmas with this and just make it a family-friendly film with very, very simple plot points?
I mean, we could probably come up with a better reason that he wants a cat. Maybe it's like he eats pets.
What? Okay, so is the boss at the bottom? He's at the abyss,
Boss
right?
is at the very bottom, yes.
What is he?
Like, what does he look like?
Is he a demon? Is he a ethereal being?
Believe it or not, Downwell doesn't get that deep into what the boss is.
What does he look like?
It's actually kind of looks like a worm kind of thing with a hard external shell.
Okay, I don't think the worm should steal the cat. I think we could have something else steal the cat. I think we could have a demon steal the cat.
And then he could sacrifice to the worm.
That's possible.
That works. Not that the cat is sacrificed to the worm, but...
Well, it almost is,
It almost is, yeah.
We could do that then. We could have it where, like, the person sees this demon-looking creature get his cat, and he's like, no, and he chases after it, and it goes down the well.
Or you just see, like, an arm reach up and nab the cat or something like that.
We have the kind of the silhouette or the hand, like you said, grabbing it, and then he has to ask all the questions as he goes. Have you seen a cat? What's a cat? It's like a...
Who?
It's has a picture of it. It's like this.
Ew, that's
a very realistic
what is that?
picture. Oh yeah, I saw that horrid thing. It's being carried.
Or just like, I saw like a red arm or something. They say, it's probably a demon or something. So I think it's implied, because it's a worm-like creature, that it's the one digging out the well. We could have it kind of be an eldritch horror kind of vibe with it.
Yeah,
it's like this massive eternal being.
Just kind of lived at the bottom of the well and kept digging it down.
Yeah.
Do we want to give any backstory to it?
Nah.
All right.
I always think if you're dealing with eldritch stuff, the less backstory you have, the better.
Right. I think also we can give the demons more of a role and have them be the sentient ones who are causing the trouble, and then that thing is just there. Like, they're like, even the demons are afraid of it, and then the guy is able to defeat it and save his cat.
Right. Okay, so let's flesh out, I guess, the world of the well. So we have these 5 areas: the caverns, catacombs, aquifer, I believe it's called. And then you have the limbo and abyss. So obviously those last 2 are going to be demon territory. Aquifer, I think, can be kind of the dividing line between the more safe-ish parts of the well, the caverns and the catacombs, and the demon-infested parts.
Right.
So I think we would probably spend the majority of our time in those caverns or the catacombs and the world that populates those 2 levels.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And then to save the cat, Welltaro figures out where the cat is. So, he dips down in the water to go save the cat, and maybe never to come back, because he loves his cat so much.
From clay I was created, to clay I shall return.
So let's kind of work out what. So we got the end, we got the beginning, kind of. Let's figure out that middle section. So are we going more like an investigation kind of thing with it, where Welltaro's trying to find out what took his cat, what's going on in this world, or do we do a little more action-adventure kind of stuff?
I definitely think it should be more action-adventure, especially if we're going kind of a family-friendly route with it, where I think the first thing will be goes into the well and just fails, just kind of maybe slides down, gets really scared. It's like there's no way I can safely make it down, and then encounters its first inhabitant. Not its first inhabitant, the first inhabitant that of the well that it encounters. That what's his name?
So
I forgot his name again.
The shopkeeper?
No,
or Welltaro.
Welltaro. How do I forget that?
That's not really a common name.
Welltaro would encounter and then get the gun boots.
So do you want to go with Welltaro having the scared arc? He's scared to go down. He kind of goes over the well on an impulse, just to like reactionary to save his cat. And then, throughout the whole thing, he struggles with his fear until he goes down through the aquifer, crosses that threshold to the demon lands.
I don't know if it should necessarily be fear as much of
cowardice.
Maybe maybe a lack of confidence, not necessarily fear. So he wants to save his cat. He loves his cat. That's like he's the little introvert guy whose only friend is a cat or something. But he is not necessarily afraid of of going and doing it. He just doesn't have the confidence to do it well. And so he has to build up those skills and therefore get confidence to do these things, because he's just kind of stumbling. He's just like, I got to do it because I got to save this cat. So it's not even that he's afraid. It's just that he's going to fail because he doesn't have the skills or the confidence to get from point A to point B alive.
Well, that brings up an interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of touched on death of the afterlife, but stick with me. Since this is a roguelike, where you die and you start at the top, could we incorporate that somehow?
I was going to make a joke that we incorporated at the end where the cat goes back down the well on its own accord. He's like, oh, I got to go. But I don't know if that would actually be worth doing for this time specifically, because if we do incorporate him dying and going back to the beginning, or not necessarily dying, but, being defeated.
Yeah.
What we recognize as death, and then having to go back to the start, I think that would create more questions than we have time to answer.
That's probably fair.
I think it would.
So we
be,
just have him fail in less deathly ways.
Yeah, fail where he doesn't die. Have things where he interacts with characters that give him, help him, but not just for free, or whatever.
Right. Okay. Well, let's work it out a little bit. I do like him going down the caverns. He's alone. He doesn't have the gun boots yet. Maybe he encounters a monster. And, let's say he's going very slowly, like he's just kind of climbing down.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any means to...
Right. And then, maybe something jumps out at him. And I think it'd be cool if the well, kind of is a cone shape. So, the top part is fairly, like a well. And as you get deeper and deeper, it starts spreading out. So, maybe we can have, a town or a city in the well, and it's this, huge circular area.
Right. It's, on the wall, like those old, I don't know what they were called, but, the kind of, the adobe cities that were built into the sides of the canyons.
The desert areas of America type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd be a really cool look.
Definitely, and I think it would work well with the claymation aesthetic. You could just use harsh shadows to see depth, rather than having to make something bright and colorful.
And as you're, at the top, he can see the full surroundings of the well. But as he gets deeper, obviously, there's less light, and then it's wider as well. So there's certain points he can't even see, the other side of the well because it's so far away and so dark. I think it'd be a cool look.
Right, and then as we get further down, we can also have these kind of these larger cliffs, so there's more space. There is more width to the area that can be stood on. So when you have all the demons and stuff, you could have this, at what it would be near the bottom of the well where the creature is, you could have this huge cliff, that just extends out like a spike towards the center.
Yeah.
And that's where they're about to go and we're going to sacrifice the cat. And that could be
they're
where...
holding the cat by the nape of its neck.
And that could be where Welltaro jumps from to center himself so that we can have that big, finish with the beast.
Yeah. He dives out of limbo into the abyss.
Right.
Or he dives out of, I guess, the aquifer into limbo, grabs the cat, keeps going, or so, whatever.
Right. That could be cool.
So he's climbing down. He encounters his first monster. Probably he's not going to go very well. does he try to fight or does he just try to run? What do you think?
I think he could attempt to fight, just kind of like a shoo, get away, swatting at it with his noodle arm or whatever he has. Nub. I guess it's kind of like just like a big finger. That's what it looks like.
I think he should fall. I think he should fall while he's fighting it.
Right. Yep.
Because we need to establish something that
there was a danger here.
Well, I was gonna say, in the games, there's no such thing as fall damage. So, should we keep it the same? Should we establish that fairly early on?
We don't really acknowledge it. I think we can have him fall from great heights and not really be hurt. Maybe he gets dazed or something,
Yeah.
But
if we want to go kind of crazy with it, he falls and he just squishes into a puddle of clay and then springs back up.
I think that might work, but it would be a little weird.
Well, I'm just trying to think. Once he gets the gun boots and when he's in his prime, we don't want the audience to be thinking yeah, he's going down pretty fast. What if he hits a cliff or something?
I think we want to give there's a risk to it. So there's no fall damage, but there's a reason why he doesn't just fall straight to the bottom and go after his cat. And maybe that's something that we as the audience learn alongside him, where it's hey, he falls, he lands several meters down, but he's fine.
Yeah.
And it's kind of oh, and then maybe we have a slight nod, be yeah, some things work differently down here,
In the game, I mean, you can fall straight down, but you'll definitely die because there's just so many monsters or all these obstacles like spikes and stuff.
Unless you are a speedrunner.
Unless you are skilled. So you could have. Maybe they're talking to the shop. I think the shopkeeper can be our mentor-like character. The one to give him the exposition dump about the world.
Yeah, and he'd be the one that is also most human, most like him.
Yeah, so Welltaro's all right, well, I'm just going to go down there, and maybe he grabs his collar, or he's naked, so he just grabs his head.
Flesh.
It pulls off a piece of his flesh. He's oh, you don't want to be doing that, and then he can explain why, these monsters and stuff.
Yeah, we could even have the little. I do like also the idea of maybe having some exposition explained with a cut to another graphical style, and we could have the black and white, or I guess monochrome for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Kind of 2D look, and so when he's explaining something, it could just be kind of like a monochrome silhouette, and it shows just a figure looking like Welltaro dropping down, and then a creature just going right through him, or something. So it's not necessarily gory, but it shows it's that's a threat you're gonna have to face. You got to be prepared.
Yeah. What you want in Downwell is that ideal as controlled falling. Yeah. Because if you go too fast, you're not going to be able to react to what's coming up, and you'll hit them on. Because if you touch one of them, you'll get hurt most of the time.
Right, and we could even imply that speed is important though, because maybe he could say, "Well, why don't you just give me a climbing rope, or a harness or whatever?" And he's like, no, you'll be too slow.
You'll get swarmed if you're going that slow.
Yeah.
So I like that. Our shopkeeper gives them the gun boots. I think they're the very basic, just kind of gun boot, boop, 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 boop. They're not the crazy ones.
Yeah, they're very simple.
I do want to incorporate a town or a city next, but should we keep that in the caverns?
I think we can keep it in the caverns because below it is going to be the catacombs where, there are dead things.
But you can have people in the catacombs.
Sure. Ghosts. Because I don't want it to be we're going to set up a thing where each area is going to have the exact same formula to it. But I do like the idea of each area has maybe there's 3 things he gets, kind of not not objects, but 3 things he gets, either information, an object, or a friend, so to speak. Not somebody who follows him, but somebody who is actually going to be oh, you've got this, support.
Well, I'm just thinking if he doesn't spend very much time in limbo because he kind of dips straight down to the abyss, that means the majority of the movie is going to be spent in the catacombs and the caverns.
Yeah. I also wanted to touch on this. I had a cool visual idea. Since limbo is pretty much just hell, what if we see waterfalls coming from the side of the...
That'd be cool.
Of the aquifer, and we see them evaporating, as they hit that level.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Just to explain why it's not filled with water right here.
Right.
I think the city. So let's say he goes to the city for whatever. The shopkeeper Well, he's still looking for the cat.
Mm-hmm.
So the shopkeeper, I guess, would suggest going to the city to find out what took his cat, maybe?
We could also imply, well, we could do that, but we could have to imply then that there is like a path. So, for example, there's a way straight down, of course, which is falling once you get those boots. But there's also a much, much slower path. And that could also be implied, even when he says, I just got to go straight down. Do you have like a harness? He's like, no, it'd be too slow if you try to do it like that. But he's like, well, I've got to get down as fast as I can. I can't, just go through these cities and these steps.
Maybe he needs
I've got to get
guide.
my cat.
There's a guide or something in the city who can kind of, you could either do that or you could say maybe the catacombs are locked off for like they're too dangerous.
Yeah, but it's the quickest path down.
Oh, it's the only path down, really.
But they're like locked off. We could even have, if we really want to go out of, take liberties with it, we could have like there's this huge vault door, at the bottom of the caverns that keep whatever's in the catacombs in, which also would include, everything below the catacombs, which is the aquifer and limbo and everything like that.
Or, well, instead of a vault, maybe like a grate type thing, just because remember the demon has to get down there.
Sure, but we could also really imply that there's other ways that the demon gets down there too. It might be too much to explain. That's right. Maybe something else. Yeah.
Whatever. It's blocked. The point is, it's blocked off. Okay, so he's got to go to the city. I think we got to spend a big chunk of time in the city.
Okay.
Just he's working up his confidence. I think even when he gets the gun boots,
we see him learn how to use the gun boots.
Right, like he doesn't really know how to use the gun boots when he first gets, like he's going down and he's kind of like, he's like, he shoots with the gun boots, like blasts himself into a wall or something.
I like that.
Like it's very clear he doesn't know what he's doing.
Right, we could of course play with the visual style, even though we're not saying, it is clay. We can play with the kind of elasticity of it, and you can like, squish against the wall.
A lot of squish and stretch. Yeah. That good animation stuff. So should he go from the shopkeeper straight down to the city? We have a little moment of him trying to use the gun boots. I think the shopkeeper should take him to the city. I don't think okay, so now that we're introducing this city, I think the shopkeep should not give him the gun boots right away. I think the shopkeeper should say, we've got to, go to the city in this, and maybe after going through the city and talking to different people and understanding these things, he kind of realizes, he's like, well, that's not the quickest. Like, I got to get down as quick as possible, because my cat could be in danger. What you could do is you could have the shopkeeper be like he is in the game. It's very capitalistic. He says, I got these boots. You ain't got no gems. You got no gems, pal.
So he has to get gems.
Where those gems at, dog? Although you do get gems from using the gun boots in the game, but we can switch that.
We could say, we could even say, maybe we could imply he has money. So he, pulls in his pockets, and he's like, I got, he pulls out, $1 or something.
Your money's not good.
He's like, yeah, that's worth nothing. You got to get the real stuff. And he shows him, a gem. And so then it's like, there could be this sense where he has to learn. He's like, I'll let you use these, but you gotta work for me.
What if he gives him crap gun boots?
Ooh, like to intentionally sabotage or what?
No. Just like these are I'll give you these for free. They don't work super well, and they're the basic gun boots you get in the game, before you get the better ones.
We could do that because we could say he gets those, and then he realizes maybe after his little thing with the city, he realizes, he says, wait a minute, these ones are terrible. Why can't I have the big ones? And then he's like, those going to cost you money. And so then his practicing could also be oh boy, don't we love montages, but could also be a scene. We had a montage. Where he's getting those gems. He's working his way. He finally gets the better ones. And his confidence is built up just a little bit more. He still has some areas to go through, to get to arc further.
Yeah.
But he's enough at this point where he can actually survive,
I like the idea. So in the games, in just the one game, the shopkeeper is just kind of like he appears every couple of levels. I like the idea of the shopkeeper just never leaving his little cave shops. Like Welltaro never finds him in the city when he goes there. He finds him off in a cave somewhere.
That'd be kind of funny.
And it's like, how does he even get there? We don't know.
Because he appears in the other levels of the well,
right?
too.
Like he's down.
That would be
he could
great.
be down in limbo or the aquifer.
Yeah, then you
like
could bring
that.
the question of like, you set me up. You're in with these guys. He's like, no. It's just business. It's just business.
He's very what's the word?
He's worldly.
He's earthly.
He's welly.
I've been in this well my whole life.
Still smiling.
I think, if I may, let's talk about the city. I want to say a couple of things.
Okay.
Number one, I think if we're showing that they throw everything down in this well, which I don't know where we landed on that. I think we should the city should just be a hodgepodge of all sorts of stuff. Like it doesn't really have any coherency in terms of like aesthetic, because it's just like everything that people have thrown down there.
Okay.
It's kind of been.
I think it should be mostly rock and stone, but it could have I think the materials that are used for the infrastructure could be that hodgepodge. So it doesn't look like this huge, vibrant, cool looking city. It just kind of looks like, oh, they built this out of stone, and then they've got like different colored pipes that run water, and they've got different. It's obvious that they're using things that maybe are not intended for their main purpose.
That's just it's a visual thing. Doesn't really. Just I thought that'd be an interesting look.
I think that'd be cool. Let's set up what we want. So we have.
Well, we need to set up the well.
The village.
We need to set up the well's dangerous. We need to set up someone went down the well. We need to set up Welltaro lacks confidence.
Okay, so I think we can do that very easily.
Hit me.
We have Welltaro has a cat.
Okay.
Talks to his cat. His cat, like we go right off the bat and say the cat is his solace. It's like if something's wrong, he's talking to his cat. And it's just kind of like the cat
right.
in classic cartoony fashion is like agreeing and like meow, just like happy to be there.
Yeah.
The other people,
like a cat.
Yeah, we could say that not that other people make fun of Welltaro, but that it's just kind of they know he's kind of meek and introverted, so they don't really deal with him. And then we could have it set up where there is some story. I don't know if we want to put it at the beginning because that's how so many movies start. It's like, oh, this is the story of the man who got lost.
I hate
we could
that.
have something else pop up where there's like a conversation about like a grandpa, and he's like, "No, now you can play, but don't go near that well." There's like kids.
What if you know how I feel about flashbacks?
Flashbacks
is that I don't like them.
Right.
What if Welltaro is like the repairman of the village? Like there's a house that's roof's got a hole in it. He's up there patching it.
I like that because then we could set up his personality separate from his physique.
Yeah, city council or what have you says, oh, that old well is getting the well started to crumble. You got to go build it back up. We use that well. We wanted to look nice.
I think we could even imply that maybe they
After
do
having
reference
set up that it's a dangerous place.
Right. The well would be like people just throw trash down and it's like nobody uses it anymore. And the mayor or whoever, we could create this comical stereotype of like, I don't care if nobody uses it anymore. We've got to make it look nice. It is the center point of this town.
I think everyone still does use it. It's just
how you yourself said there was no bucket.
It's the garbage dump. They
That's
don't use
not
it as a well.
well.
They use it as a garbage dump.
Then why would they call it a well?
There's no bucket on the well.
So
it's
not a well.
It's called a well.
We could say that it was a well. That would imply it, and that they don't. I don't think people use it to use it. I think maybe it's just kind of a piece of history, and there's legends with it.
It's the dumpy.
You keep using the term garbage dump, and I don't know where you're pulling it from, because
I just don't know why not.
Would you throw junk down a well?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll say, hey, people use that well, to throw garbage down. You need to go make it look nice.
Or just repair it. I mean, the game, it's like 2 bricks high. It's a pretty crappy looking well.
Are we gonna have somebody near the well who's like just kind of warns him? Be like,
no, I think he gets commission to fix the well like after we've already set up the mystique of the well.
Oh, okay. So I get what you're saying. So what you're saying is he's gonna fix it. He's a good person, so he's gonna do it, and he's not gonna stand up and say I won't do that because I'm scared. He's gonna be like, okay, I'll do it.
Well, it's his job.
Yeah. And then we're gonna see a red old hand come up from the well while he's working.
His cat's there.
Yeah, of course his
cat's
cat's
with
there.
him. Of course he's fixing up the well. He gets snatched.
Gets
as so many cats
snatched.
do.
I remember when my first cat got snatched.
I remember when your 5th cat got snatched.
We don't talk about that one.
You still didn't go down the well.
No.
So should Welltaro have any friends, or you want to paint him as a loner character?
I wanted to paint him as a loner because think about it realistically.
Okay.
If you had friends and something happened to your animal, you'd go to your friends and you'd be like, guys, my cat, we got to go do this. If he's a loner, he knows he really can't tell anybody else about this. Not that he shouldn't, but that he wouldn't. You know what I mean?
I wasn't even thinking he'd have time to I was thinking, you see the cats get snatched, he goes dip down right after.
Yeah, but I think we could also imply that if he is a loner, there's no reason.
I'm fine with him being a loner.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much reason to set that up, like extend it, or I'm sorry, to
I don't really. Yeah,
flush it
it's
out.
not that important.
But I think making it makes it a little easier because
Sure.
if I were in that situation, at least as somebody who is an extrovert, I would definitely go to my friends and be like, okay,
You would
this
say,
just happened.
guys, we got to dip down this well.
Yeah, I need emotional support and I need physical support. Come on, like.
So are you saying Welltaro should get friends in the well or not?
I don't think so because then we have to imply that people are going to follow him.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So I think he talks to people, and I think we could even, if we want to go the comical route, we could set up in the beginning that he is a loner, and there's a reason why, or maybe there's some kind of like running gag as to why. And then
he's the only
anytime he leaves the next point, he goes to the next level. Nobody wants to follow along. They're just like, yeah, he's a loner,
I don't even think he should form relationships to the extent where they would even consider following.
Well, except the shopkeep, but the shopkeep's a businessman.
He's fixing the well. Cat gets snatched. We could set up, or how should we set it up at the beginning of the movie about, a little history about this well and that someone disappeared down it?
We could basically have it where the town, the mayor or whoever is like this wise old character, and he's telling the kids, he's like, oh, don't play in the well. And, he's basically explaining the dangers of this well, and he tells the story about how somebody got lost down there. Once again, we can use that style we talked about earlier where he's, cuts to a monochrome kind of interpretation or whatever.
Well, we could just have Welltaro fixing the roof, and he overhears the mayor.
He overhears the mayor. Right,
Yeah.
he's working on something.
A cart of trash going to the well, and they dump it in.
I think we could extend it. Well, we can even extend it beyond that. We could say he's warning of the dangers of the well, and and he's saying only special people should be near the well or whatever. And then in the next scene he literally turns to Welltaro and is like, you got to fix it up. We got to keep it looking nice if we want to keep people. And it just kind of the comedy of, wait, you literally just said this is a horrible, horrible place, but you want it to be kept nice.
It's about the village aesthetic.
Exactly. It's like people do use it as the dump, and you never want to have to look at something disgusting when throwing your stuff down the trash. Yeah,
right.
We can make the guy just a stereotype, make it funny, because then that gives us the ability to have Welltaro kind of react naturally, but as a loner, and just kind of like, okay, I guess it's my job.
It's his job. It's
right.
his job. What I was thinking, how are we going to set up that he lacks confidence? I was thinking what we could do is maybe he has a boss. Or maybe the mayor is his boss.
Oh, I think that definitely should be it. Because if
we're
going kind of like a primitive village,
Yeah. Maybe, stick with me. Maybe he has like a mother or an older family member. And they're like, why? They see he's not getting paid much. Like, why don't you go ask the mayor for a raise? And he's like, oh, I don't know. The mayor summons him to his office, and he tells Welltaro, he's like, there's something I've been meaning to ask you, Welltaro. And Welltaro's like, okay. Because he thinks it's about the raise, and he's like, I need you to go fix up the well.
I like that, yeah. I've got a very special conversation to have. Something I know that's probably been on your mind for a while now. Right. Yeah.
It's that darn well.
Exactly. That'd be good.
That's funny.
All right.
And
so we'll just say he has a relative figure who does care about him, but he doesn't necessarily, it's not that he doesn't care about it, he just doesn't associate with too much, because we don't want to give this, oh, he's constantly talking to his mother, because he would go instantly to tell his mother that the cat fell down the well. But like, this person cares enough about him.
It doesn't work with a snatch route, but if the cat just like falls down, Welltaro falls down with him, which I know that doesn't work with anything we've set up.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Just remember, Welltaro is described as a young man or perhaps young boy.
I think we could do young boy.
Yeah, I think I'm like an older, like someone who he wouldn't go to about the cat because they're like old,
grandpa,
and like not physically capable?
Grandma.
Grandma or
Grandma. Definitely grandma. I'm stuck with grandma.
Okay, fine. I won't fight you on this one. Should they live in the same house?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, it's a small little primitive village. Works.
Yeah, like 20 houses. Pretty small.
20 houses, one well. I know.
One well. One dump well.
One
right,
down
anyway.
well.
Flash forward to the city.
All right.
I think what we could be... So he's got to get gems to get the shopkeeper.
Right.
To get gun boots. I think it would be cool if we see... There's other people who use gun boots.
Better gun boots.
Better, yeah. But, like, they're like protecting... I guess the guardians of the city. You know, they're fighting...
Right, and so if a monster's crawling up over the edge of the well, it like you actually you see him jumping. Pow! You know, drop shoot
the whole team jumps on him.
Yeah.
So yeah, they like you said, he could see that. He says, "Oh, man, mine suck."
Yeah.
So he has to get. So how does he get gems? Do you think?
I think
sells his body. His little clay body.
Is that Lord of the Game?
Yeah, there's a brothel area in between the caverns and the catacombs.
I think what we could have is, so how do you normally get the gems? You said you fight monsters, you use the gun boots.
You fight monsters, you shoot like veins in the wall.
Okay, I think we could have him mine.
Or you find pots and stuff.
Could have him do some mining.
Just some mining?
Yeah. We could have him kind of understand the most basics of the gun boot.
We could have a set piece.
Right.
Where, what if he like gets a job? Not a job. Job's the wrong word. No, what if he like just spends a day working with those guards?
Okay, like fighting monsters.
You can have one of them kind of take pity on him and teach him the basics.
I don't know. I like the
Maybe
idea
not.
in concept, but I don't know how it would flesh out, because then you got to say, like, his goal is to go get that cat. He's trying to find information to get that cat, and he's trying to get from point A to point B as fast as possible.
Well, don't forget, he's also trying to get to the catacombs. So we could kill two birds with one boot here and say only the guardians have the ability to
unlock the catacombs. Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
You know, to protect the village, to fend off the monsters.
Oh, I definitely like that. That's smart.
That also really fleshes out the middle of the movie. And we could also be introduced to these guard characters.
I think the guards would be the ones. So the shopkeep gives a little bit of information, but I think the guards would know more about the demons and the ghosts and all that. So they would actually explain. They'd say, "Oh, your cat must have been taken by one of these things." If, kind of thinking he's like, now, if you want to go down there, you can't go down there with those things. And he's like, "What? These are the ones that I just got." And he's like, well, if he goes back to the shopkeeper, he's like, "Well, why'd you give me crap ones?" And he's like, money.
Who are you?
Who are you?
So we could we could have obviously a couple of characters in these guards. We could either have a bully or I guess, kind of mentor character. I'm just imagining, like, if he lacks confidence, they're down in the catacombs, they're looking at the entrance to the aquifer, and, like, the guard character's like, well, there you go, but Welltaro is just not ready yet. Like, he can't work up that confidence.
He has to get pushed.
Well, no, I didn't mean that. I'm just saying either it's like, hey, I understand, man, or it's like, get out there, stop being a wimp.
I like that. We could set him up. I think if we set him up kind of as like a mentor drill sergeant character, where, like, when we first kind of encounter him, we see him being harsh to his
that's
men.
Cool, yeah.
But then he takes pity on, Welltaro and is a little kinder
like,
to
those
him.
Those are the worst gun boots I've ever seen.
Yeah, but we can tell there's a love in it. There's a kindness to it. And then later, when he's about, when he's like second guessing, he's like, I don't know if I can do this. He just starts yelling at him, and he's, straightens his back up.
No, I think by that point they've warmed up to each other.
Yeah, but he's got to give him that push. He's got to give him that push, not a physical push.
Well, but by the time he goes through the aquifer, remember, we're like almost done with the movie.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to fill there, which I think we can fill with these guards as he kind of learns how to use these gun boots and learns the ways of this
So
world.
you're saying that as he learns how to use these, maybe he gets to the catacombs.
Yeah.
So he's learning how to use them within the catacombs, within these other parts. I think maybe we could also have it to where that's where we see the second instance of the shop.
Yeah.
And that would be kind of the joke, like, wait, that there's a shop down here?
Yeah, are you a guard? Do you have the guard access? And the shopkeeper says, I have all the access.
But then that's when he would get get the upgrade, though, right before he gets to the next level,
Well, I was gonna say, as he's kind of learning how to be a better guard. Maybe our sergeant character can give him an upgrade.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you've made it to the next level, or something cheesy
a little
like
less
that.
gamey, but yeah.
Yeah, and so you can have all these different characters. We don't have to get into it too much. But you have these different guards, and Welltaro forms relationships with them. Although, I don't know. Now I'm kind of reversing what I'm saying. Now I kind of do want these guard characters to come down through the aquifer and through limbo with them. Maybe not to fight the eldritch horror.
Maybe they could.
Ooh.
So you know how you initially said he was just gonna drop down and gonna kind of pass through limbo, just kind of drop through it and get to the abyss.
Yeah, because like you said, they
what
have
if
that
he
big
does actually
cliff
have to spend some time in limbo, and the guards say,
"Yeah,
there's a lot of demons down there. We'll help you fend them off, but it's up to you to get that cat."
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, because that could kind of work with what was said at the beginning. Like, you can't just fall uncontrollably, so the guards are going to go with him to, like, fend off all the demons that'll be, like, trying to stop his downward progress.
Right, and we could say there's even ledges and stuff. We have that one last ledge before you get to the abyss, that one huge cliff that we talked about. I think it would be really...
the cat over,
right,
whatever.
What if when he sees it, he rushes to get it, then he realizes, wait, there's nothing to land on, and that's what causes him and him alone to plummet down to that point, you know? Because now we've already established that, of course, we established this in the principle that, you know, we could give a better reason as to why the gun boots have to be on ground to be recharged, you know, or something.
Yeah.
But now that he's falling, he's just going to fall, you know, and he has to get down to the bottom before he can fight the actual, you know, worm thing.
So what happens to the cat? Because are we still keeping the cat?
I think he grabs the cat. Like, he grabs the cat and it's in his arms as he falls down. So we could even have it to where he's holding the cat while he fights the thing. Because remember, he's not using his hands. It's all in those gun boots.
Oh, yeah. So maybe they dropped the cat and that's what's... It's not so much that, like... Maybe he is out of ammo and he's, you know...
so he drops down there to go get the cat.
And then they drop the cat and he just veers off towards the cat.
I like that.
I'm trying to think how much in detail do we need to go here with this middle section with the guards. I don't think we need to go that deep into it.
No, I think we just have one guard that is the mentor kind of character, and then we have the other guards who are kind of doubters, you know, to varying degrees.
The other guard characters, like, they all have their own individual personalities.
Yeah.
They could also epitomize the different types of gun boots. Like, you have the shotgun, you have the triple burst, you have
you kind of got
the
that,
laser.
The Team Fortress 2 class styles, you know, but you got the different people with the different weapons, and it's just their personalities are based off of their weapon. If you've got somebody who's got the automatic gun boot, he's like this big, you know, rough and tough guy, and then if you've got somebody who's got like the shotgun one, they're kind of more country, you know, in their you know ways.
Yeah, we learn these we learn you know about Welltaro. We can have some misadventures because you gotta have misadventures in the catacombs.
In the catacombs.
I think that Act 2 downfall.
We could also have it be in the aquifer too. Once he gets those upgrades and he's within the aquifer, we can also.
Well, the thing about the aquifer is that it's all underwater, and in the game you have like a breath meter, so you gotta kind of go fast.
I think that could work too. Still, like, he could be warned of that, and then that part does take place pretty quickly, but we still see, you know, these events as they occur.
We don't want to spend too much time in the aquifer, no. I don't think. I think that the Act 2 downfall should be like him looking at the aquifer and, you know, the Sarge kind of takes pity on him. And he's like, I'm not ready, you know. And the sergeant is like, that's all right. Let's get back up there, take a day off or something, you know. Build up that confidence somehow.
Yeah, and we can have kind of Welltaro kind of beating himself up a little bit. You know, get a talking to later, but he kind of beats himself. He's like, who knows what could be happening to that cat? You know, it's my only cat. You know, it's all I got. You know.
Yeah, and then say, you know, the guards can kind of talk him into his own confidence.
Yeah,
like, it's your cat. You gotta go save him. He's like, I'm gonna go save my cat. And then we could see him if he's in the caverns. We could see him like just, if you'll excuse the pun, gun it down. You know, past the catacombs. We can see he's a lot better with the gun boots. You know, he's falling fast, but he's controlled falling. And, you know, he's jumping and bouncing and shooting as he goes down.
Yeah.
Should we even keep the thing like where he's trying to get enough money to buy the good gun boots, or should we just have the guards give him good gun boots?
I think the guards should. Well, I do want the shopkeeper to have more of a purpose. So I think I
mean, we could just have him come across the shopkeeper during like a misadventure in the catacombs.
But to what extent? To
I don't know.
what goal? If we have the goal where he has a need to see him again, and he's there, and there's kind of a humorous convenience to the fact that he's in the catacombs, and it's just kind of like...
Well, the shopkeeper also sells like food and stuff which heals you. So maybe Welltaro got beat up by something, or he fell down and got hit by a monster. So he's like, he's hurt, and the shopkeeper pulls out like a piece of bread or something, or I think it's like an apple in the game. It's like 500 gems for this bad boy.
We could do that. I feel like there should still be a bit more of a reason why he's there, but I'm fine with either. I'm fine with saying that the guards just give him the upgraded boots kind of as like this coming of age thing, it's like, you've proven yourself, now go save your cat, We're there with you.
And they go with him.
All right.
Yeah. Cool. So anything else you think?
I actually think that's pretty good. I think we can go ahead and start going towards the tail end.
We didn't work out the ending.
That's what I'm saying. We work on the tail end now.
Yeah.
I like the idea where you said that the cat is being dropped, so he goes after the cat, grabs the cat.
That's cool.
I really want to keep the concept where he's holding the cat while he's using these boots, because then
as long as it doesn't look too goofy.
No, and I think we can have it, because if you're just falling and fighting while you're falling, who knows? That cat could be really cool looking. It could climb on his shoulder, and there's a point,
Well, maybe we could have the cat be a little smarter than a real cat, and like maybe the cat attacks the worm somehow.
Yeah.
With his claws or something. So it's useful.
Right, like the cat's not incapable, but also the cat wasn't going to do anything when it was kidnapped because it was scared. But now that it's with Welltaro again, it's also confident.
They both have their confidence.
Yeah. And we don't have to explain how the cat got its confidence because it's a cat.
Right. We don't care. So Welltaro hits the bottom. I kind of like the idea of just the visual of just him being at the bottom. If there's just like, it's just blackness, like there's nothing there.
Right.
And he's like, oh, okay. He just goes back up with the gun boots, I guess.
After defeating the worm?
Yeah.
I think when he gets down to the bottom and there's just kind of the blackness, I almost want the shopkeeper to appear again.
Well done, Welltaro. Well done.
And he's like, well, looks like you're going to need some ammo to get back up.
It looks like you're going to need a ladder.
Or something, yeah. And then he comes in and he's like, that'll be... He pulls out a calculator. Like...
1,200 gems, huh? Looks like you're a little short. So...
I actually think that...
Well, he gets up there some... I think in the game he just straight up just uses the gun boots, which, like,
That's fine. Yeah, I think...
in the game when you use the gun boots, they, like, propel you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Or I guess they slow your momentum, would be the... Because it's the upward momentum.
Right, and we've already implied that the only reason he's going down is because he has a reason to go down. So I guess getting back up is going to be a lot easier. We should...
Yeah. And we can explain that.
We can also,
like,
I think, have a scene in the city.
Special emergency thing in the gun boots. Or, actually, you know what? In the game, there's an upgrade that's kind of become one of the icons of the game. It's called just a pretty balloon. It's a heart-shaped balloon.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like an emergency thing they give him, where it's like, you just inflate this bad boy and you'll go all the way back up to the top.
Do we want the shopkeeper to appear at the end? Because I still think it'd be funny to have the shopkeeper be like, you could use this, and get holds up the balloon, and then of course the joke about him having to get money.
I feel like that's too creepy if he's just there in the pit of infinite void.
I think it could be funny, especially if we don't make the character himself creepy.
I'm not 100% opposed to it.
I think we can go with both options.
We just don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to focus too much on the bottom.
We'll leave that open-ended to an audience choice. I'm cool with the shopkeep being down there, but I'm also 100% cool with him having the balloon given to him. And so after he beats the worm, he's down at the bottom.
Really,
and then he remembers the balloon. And he's like, oh, and then he uses it. And we could even have, not to weird this out, but we could have kind of these scenes as he's going back up. He's going up kind of fast, with the balloon. Yeah. And we see him pass all these things. We see, he passes through limbo and he sees the guards fending off the demons. And one of them looks at him and salutes, or something. And then he goes past goes through the water into the caverns and the catacombs. And you see the shopkeep and he, waves at him or something, or holds up a gem.
Throws a gem at the balloon, pops it, he falls back down.
You'll have to buy another one.
Shame. So here's my final question. Should Welltaro go back to the ground, or should he stay in the cavern?
Oh, I think he should definitely go back to the ground. That's his home.
You think so?
That's his home.
All right. That's fair.
I think he goes back, and I think
I think we show that he keeps the gun boots so he can go back and visit his friends.
There you go. That works. Because then we could have it at the end, and we could even say, not to make it too cheesy, but we could have the implication he doesn't have many friends up top. He's got friends in low places, you know.
Oh, there it is.
Then it looks over, and the gumboots are on the shelf, you know.
Yeah, that's fun. The mayor's like, where have you been?
It's like,
we had a roof cave in because of you.
I was fixing the well from the inside.
He puts the boots on his hands, shoots the mayor.
Because his feet are pretty much just his hands. That's his structure.
All right, that's Downwell, the movie. I think we call it Downwell.
I think definitely we can call it Downwell. I am glad we did not go the horror route.
I mean, we could. I see how we could have. I'm not opposed to it, but you know, we have to stick with one route and go with it.
Right. I like
here on Speculation Stage.
Is this our first claymation?
It is our first claymation.
Ooh. So now we've officially done puppets, 2D animation, claymation, 3D animation. I think we've
live action.
We've almost covered them all.
Which one's what's left?
Black and white.
Well, that's not really a medium.
I mean, if we consider the lighthouse to be
a style,
I guess.
I guess that's fair.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this adventure. If you like what you heard, we liked what we made, share the show.
Oh, share it.
Share it on all the places where it is, any place where you find your podcasts, and
social media,
and our website, where you can find the links to all of those, which is speculativerealism.com. That is realism with 2 E's, like a film reel.
We also got all of these episodes up on YouTube, as well as some other stuff we've been putting out.
Yes.
So be sure to check that out. What's going on over there? What kind of shows we got? We also have a link to our Patreon on both YouTube and the website. You know, if you want to support the show financially, that's the place to do it. Get a little bonus content. You help us, we help you. You know.
Yeah, you scratch our movie, we'll scratch your radio play.
We'll scratch your movie right back.
If you have ideas for a game or a movie combination, game and movie combination, or one or the other specifically, say you want to say, hey, we're going to take Mario Party 4 and turn it into an Ocean's 11 movie, tell us about it. Tell us what you think.
Sounds kind of fun.
Because we will gladly look at the idea and we'll talk about it, and we'll, of course, credit you for it. But you can send that to us at our email, which you will find on our website.
Yeah, speculativerealism@gmail.com.
That's mail, also, like, you know, the mail you get in the mail.
Gmail as in mail. We're also on social media, of course. We Twitter, Facebook, Instagram @SpecReal. We trimmed out the fat of our name, just Spec, S-P-E-C, Real, R-E-E-L.
And then you swish it together like it's one word.
Squish it together, no hyphen, none of that fancy punctuation. Not here. Well, my friend, my good boy, my little babushka boy. It's time for us to head off. We're leaving that speculation station.
All right. Well, we'll see you at the next stop.
A choo-choo.
Bye.